Okay. Now this is an interesting one. I don't know if Hard Bastard has already covered this or not. I don't know if he will. I am going to probably email him and ask him if he has covered it, if he's seen it. Watched him because he used to be, for anybody who doesn't know, he used to be a Jehovah's Witness. Um, anyway, Watchtower copyright lawsuit targets creator of DubTown Lego animations. An individual who created a series of stop-motion Lego animations is being sued by Watchtower Bible and Tract Society, the supervising body and publisher for the Jehovah's Witness religious group. Kevin McFree, is that a real name? Was first targeted in 2018 via DMCA subpoena, but with that legal process stalled, Watchtower has now filed a full-blown copyright infringement lawsuit. Oh, pardon me. The Watchtower Bible and Tract Society, the supervising body and publisher of the Jehovah's Witness religious group, is known to go to extreme lengths to clamp down on those believed to be undermining the faith. For the record, the JWs are an heretical cult, okay? They are not Christians, they are heretics. So I personally, as a Christian, do not consider them to be a legitimate religion. And no one else should either, frankly. They're a cult. They're an heretical cult. Anyway, while much of this takes place in the background, Watchtower's practices can become public when the group takes legal action against people alleged to have breached its intellectual property rights. Okay, is it just me or does that look kind of Miami Vice-like? Watchtower holds registered copyrights for many works, so when these are republished, oftentimes by detractors, critics, and or former members, watch out, HB. Like your Cult Watch streams, it might be targeted. The group is happy to take matters to court. Stop-motion Lego animator Kevin McFree first targeted in 2018. In summer 2018, Watchtower filed an application for DMCA subpoena at a New York court, as it has done many times before. The aim was to have YouTube/Google hand over the personal details. Always after people's personal info, aren't they? And not just the cult. I mean, everybody who uses this fucking intellectual property laws to. I mean, some of it's legitimate, but some of it I don't think is legitimate. I think they're trying to fuck with people in a way that they should not be allowed to be doing. Anyway, known online as Kevin McFree. Okay, so it isn't a real name, I guess. Who operates a YouTube channel of the same name? Oh, cool. I have to, everybody should check that out. I'll have to check that out at some point. This channel is not intended for children, but rather seeks to provide some lighthearted humor for adults who finally see the high control group known as Jehovah's Witnesses for what they are. The channel's description reads, content on this channel is primarily XJW, stop-motion animation stories set in a fictional Jehovah's Witness town known as DubTown. I bet that's hilarious. I don't know. It might only be mildly funny, but I'll bet it's hilarious. According to Watchtower, one of McFree's videos, DubTown Family Worship July broadcast, contained around 7.5 minutes of footage leaked from Jehovah's Witness videos. The video was removed by YouTube, but McFree also mounted a defense, challenging the subpoena. Good for him. Arguments centered around the fair use provisions of the DMCA, but after almost 3 years, the matter is still not settled. Typical. That's, you're not likely to see justice in the courts, and if you do, it'll be so long in coming that most people will have forgotten what the fuck it was even about. Seemingly in response, Watchtower has now filed a full-blown lawsuit against McFree. Defendant allegedly used unpublished works in breach of copyright. Filed this week in the same New York court as the DMCA subpoena, Watchtower's complaint alleges that John Doe, a.k.a. Kevin McFree, obtained purloined copies. Purloin. Good word. Of 4 then unpublished copyrighted audiovisual works and used significant portions in his DubTown Family Worship July broadcast video published on YouTube. I'm sorry, I'm trying to think where else have I heard purloined? I mean, it's to steal, but I think the only, off the top of my head, the only place I can remember ever seeing it used before was in The Hobbit, like the book, The Hobbit. Bilbo talks about, is talking about, a first class thief would have purloined, whatever the hell it, from the trolls. Anyway, it's just, it's just not a word that you see very often anymore. According to Watchtower, these 4 videos were created between August 2017 and January 2018 and were registered with the Copyright Office in August 2018. Precautions were reportedly taken to prevent premature disclosure to the public, including requiring production team members to sign legal agreements. However, it's claimed that Kevin McFree managed to obtain leaked copies of the video from inside the religious group. I'm sorry I missed it. I wish I knew what the fuck it was. Maybe he or somebody else put it back up on BitChute or someplace. I noticed that they're a huge channel, I think. Was it Meat Canyon on YouTube? They do these horrible. I mean, they're funny, but they're horrible. They're disgusting. Parody cartoons of shit, and they did one of Bugs Bunny, and he's, I don't know. You'd have to, I mean, just search YouTube, Meat Canyon Bugs Bunny or whatever. They took down their video because Warner Brothers apparently hit them with a claim or whatever, which they tried to fight it, but apparently YouTube said, nope, fuck you, it's theirs, and it's like, that doesn't make any sense, because I mean, it's clearly a parody, and you have every right to make fun of people, and they can't claim it as, I mean, illegally speaking. I mean, I guess they probably could have taken them to court over it if they really wanted to, and won probably, but they didn't want to do that, so they just took down the video. A ton of other people reposted it though, so it's all over the place. Anyway, that sort of rebellious thing needs to happen every time. Every time there's some jackass out there doing the whole DMCA or whatever copyright abuse bullshit. They need to have their shit thrown back in their face. Like, everybody needs to post a copy of every fucking thing that's like that, because and on every platform too. It's such bullshit. Anyway, Watchtower says McFree cannot rely on fair use defense in this matter. He allegedly reproduced significant portions of the original videos, including 90% of the visual aspects and more than 50% of the audio aspects of one particular video, Never Alone, and the heart and creative aspects of the others. All in, Watchtower claims that its video made up over half of the DubTown video. Religious group also, I slightly dispute that. Religious group, the cult also claims that the use of the videos was generally unaccompanied by criticism or comment, barring the ridiculing of the Watchtower's production techniques, which the group suggests was the result of videos being unfinished. Really? Even then, they're even in this particular circumstance, they're like, our videos aren't of low quality; they just weren't finished yet. Okay. Uh, some. Well, as the saying goes, joke 'em if they can't take a fuck. But what if they can't take either? Uh, On another aspect of fair use, whether the DubTown video was produced for profit, Watchtower claims McFree had a commercial motive. According to the complaint, McFree solicited donations on his YouTube page while promoting a for-profit T-shirt business. For the love of God, can you leave people alone? I mean, it's difficult enough for anybody to make ends meet today. What is it with people? They're just like, you made a few cents, somehow off of us, maybe. Pfft, therefore, we're coming after you. Fuck you all. Jesus. Cults, by the way, well, actually, probably no churches, even real ones, probably should not enjoy tax-free status. Um, but certainly heretical cults should not be included in that. You should not be able to make up some bullshit religion and just be like, yeah, we claim tax exempt status. It's like, no. That's for real religions. I don't know how you'd separate that. Maybe just like a date cutoff. Like be like, if your religion is not at least 1,000 years old, then get the fuck out of here. With well documented, history going back at least that far. So you can't claim some nebulous. Well, it's sort of like something that people practice thousands. No, not good enough. Not good enough. It needs to be well documented. Plenty of people were involved in this religion, and they have been for at least 1,000 fucking years, nonstop. It's like basic. I mean, basically, there'd be relatively few probably that would meet that requirement. Most of your the pagan LARPers would be shut out of luck. And certainly anybody trying to, make up some bullshit thing to be like, oh, this is the Jedi Temple or whatever. Nope, fuck you. And by the way, anybody creating that, it's like, they probably ought to look out. Disney is going to sue them. If they haven't already, Disney is probably going to sue people for trying to create a religious organization based on Star Wars. All right, where upon information and belief by virtue of his unlawful conduct described above, defendant has made or will make substantial profits. I'll bet not. Substantial, I'll bet not. I fucking would dispute that for a start. And gains to which he is not in law or equity entitled, including without limitation in the form of Google ad revenue as well as donations and revenue streams from advertised merchandise, the complaint adds. References to earlier DMCA subpoena, Watchtower says that when it initially learned of the video's existence on YouTube, it sent a DMCA takedown notice demanding its removal. YouTube removed the video. See, they always comply with that shit. Even when they shouldn't. Possibly, especially when they shouldn't. The video, and Watchtower filed for a DMCA subpoena to have Google/YouTube hand over McFree's personal details. Yeah, see, they want to persecute this man. McFree filed a motion to quash, and as mentioned earlier, the matter is still outstanding. And the court should side with him. By the way, the court should. I mean, I don't know what they're going to do, but they damn well should not allow his personal information to be turned over to the JWs, because, as I said, they're a fucking cult, and this guy is essentially, he's a survivor. He was, maybe it was only emotionally, but he was no doubt abused by these people for however long he was in the cult. And so the idea of turning over his information so that they know who to go after, who to target, that's fucking monstrous. Anyway, neither YouTube nor the courts should have any part in that. Watchtower makes further references to that case, noting that McFree claimed he had obtained the portions of the copyrighted videos from another video, the Cedars video, which was posted to YouTube in April 2018. However, Watchtower says this is demonstrably false, as certain portions of their videos that were present in the DubTown video were not present in the Cedars video. According to the group, McFree later clarified his position by stating that he had obtained copies of the videos before they were completed. Claim for relief, copyright infringement, and injunctions. Watchtower says that since it is the author and sole owner of all rights to the 4 videos, Kevin McFree has committed copyright infringement under Section 501 of the Copyright Act. Watchtower doesn't mention any specific monetary value in respect to its claim, but if the infringement is deemed to be willful, damages can reach $150,000 per violation. Jesus Christ. God. Yeah, that's ridiculous. In addition, the religious group demands preliminary and permanent injunctions enjoining McFree from any further reproduction, copying, performance, or exploitation of the copyright works, including via the DubTown video. Watchtower's copyright complaint can be found here, PDF. So that's there if anybody wants to look at that. Anyway, like I said, I don't know if HB covered this or if he will cover it. I'll certainly I'll send it on to him and suggest that he covers it whenever. I don't know. It's just there. I mean, you get abuse of the law, and it's like the law is presumably written to protect people's intellectual properties and to protect people's rights, and yet so often it is used as a cudgel. I mean, what the fuck? And same thing, in this case is religion. It's like you're using the status that you don't deserve, trying to pretend that you're a legitimate religious organization. You're not. You are heretics. You are a cult. I mean, as far as I'm aware, they claim to be Christians, even though they specifically deny the divinity of Christ. I don't know. Oh, worthless pieces of shit. Okay. Anyway, I don't, so I just wanted to point out this utter horseshit. And there's so much of it. There's so much horseshit to point out. It's a full-time job. It's too bad I'm not getting paid. Anyway, I'd probably end up being sued by somebody for, how dare you try to make money. Anyway, so yeah, that sucks. I certainly hope that things go well for Mr. McFree there, and not for the cult. Any of you who are believers, feel free to offer prayers, actual prayers, to the actual God, to help this guy out. All right, until the next one.